everybody and welcome to In My Mug, episode 140 on Monday the 18th of July 2011. My name is Steve Layton and I'm very pleased to see you on this day. Okay, things to talk about. So last week, promised to do it in my roastery. I did it, it's up, so I'm going to pop a link below for you to go and have a look at that. It's moved on again this week. We've got lots more people on site at the moment, so data moving in, we reckon, is probably going to be about 5 weeks or so. So this is going to be the last few of the In My Mugs here, which is going to be sad, but you know, we move on and all of those things. So that's going to be happening soon. Last week's In My Mug, whoa, such a positive response. The Nicaraguan Limoncillo Pacamara Natural. Wow, very, very popular coffee, has gone down extremely well. You'll be pleased to know, though, this week's is a little bit of a... So we're moving off the funky bus, and it's time for us to go back to something a little bit more traditional, which, from the last two naturals we've had, I think are some of the best. This is one of the highlights of this year's Washed. A massive coffee, and I know you're going to love it, so we'll be going on to that in a second. What else do I need to talk about? A coffee that is coming. I found out this week that we've got a coffee which is called El Salvador, Los Brumas, which is the newest farm from Ernesto Mendez. We've managed to secure a very, very small lot of it, and that's going to be coming in the next few weeks, months, along with all the El Salvadors that are arriving next week. And honestly, it's just a massive time to be in coffee. So where everybody said to me, oh, you've peaked, you've done everything you can do there, now we got some more to come. Anyway, this week's coffee, let's get on to that. So it's called Costa Rica Don Mayo Finca Bella Vista. Why the long name? Well, first of all, Don Mayo. Don Mayo is the name of the mill. So this is the mill. In Costa Rica, there's like a micro mill revolution going on, where there's lots of these mills that are owned by, you know, either small groups or a group of farms that is owned by the same person, where the coffees are processed. And this mill is called Don Mayo, which is the first part of the name. Finca Bella Vista is the second part of the name. Now, Finca Bella Vista is the name of the farm, which is part of the mill, kind of. The mill owner. It's owned by Hector Bozsilla, and it is a fully washed, sun-dried coffee, grown at around about 1900 metres, and is a Caturra varietal. This coffee has come from my trip in February this year, which was to Costa Rica and El Salvador, and this is one of the direct trade coffees that we bought from there. So this coffee, in fact, before I tell you about the coffee, I'm just going to show you on the screen now a little bit of a picture of the farm, and this was as we were driving down the mill. Sorry, as we were driving down to the mill. Absolutely beautiful kind of idea of, you look at the mill and think, oh, that's a bit mechanical, and as it zooms out, you see this beautiful environment coming out, which is part of it. So this is a Caturra varietal, and a farm of some repute. Came first in the Cup of Excellence in 2009. Which is a big accolade to win a Cup of Excellence. It's a 100% Caturra lot. What else do I need to tell you about it? I mean, there's loads about this farm. So basically, in February when I went, I had 250 cups to cup over that 3 days I was there, which was pretty manic. But those 250 cups, we looked at different farms, different days pickings, different varietals, different processing methods, from around about 150 farms. And from all of those samples that we cupped, I chose 5. And this is one of the 5. And this is one that I'm really proud to show you, because it's the first time we've seen it, and I got super excited about it. So, in the group of farms, I think there's another 4, and they're owned by the same family group. The mill itself is like the most cleanest, tidiest place I think I've ever been to. Like little things like they were wearing caps, like hats in the parts where they were, you know, with the coffee. Everything was organised, so like lines to walk through the warehouse, you know, so you actually, you know, don't stray off and mess with things that you shouldn't. They were using lots of the waste product to fire the dryers, and kind of like So that some of the coffees were dried at the mill, some of the more commercial coffees were dried in the mill, and they were using the waste products for that. And it's just extremely well run. You kind of, I'll show you some pictures on the screen now, and you kind of see it just looks really professional, and that's because it is professional. I wrote up the description this morning, and in there I put about they were almost obsessional about it, but I think it's something really good to be obsessional about. So yeah, that's the coffee. What I'm going to do is I'm going to whap you on pause. I'm going to make some delicious, tasty, lovely coffee, and we'll come back and we will talk about it a little bit more. Okay, so I'm back. I'm going to dive straight into the espresso. So straight away, the aromas of the espresso, you kind of smell something's going to go on that's very sweet, but a very unusual sweetness. So let's. So what you kind of hits you first is honey, and not just honey in taste, but you get this real mouthfeel of honey. It's kind of there, and it rolls around the mouth, and it's really, really nice. In the espresso, there's this little hint of floral going on as well, which is kind of like coffee blossom floral. Now, I know not lots of you won't have kind of experienced that, but think like jasmine. It's that kind of like the beautifully clean floral taste to it. Get a little bit of dried apricot. And the big thing for me, and I found this in a couple of Costa Ricans in the past, is like peaches, but not normal peaches, a little bit kind of tinned peaches in there. But the major components for me in the espresso are honey and this floral thing going on, which disappears into these. So, into the milk. Not made a great cappuccino today. My milk's a little bit rubbish, but it sits underneath the milk a little, and I don't know whether it's just because of the sweetness of the espresso with the milk. It's a bit, and also I've been drinking a lot of naturals recently, and you know, it's a little bit flat for me. Not my favourite cappuccino, I've got to say. You know, it's sweet, but that's about it. So I'm going to take the Cantan. I brewed this today in a new brewer that we're going to be launched on the site this week, which is a Cantan drip brewer. They're a one-use brew. Put your coffee in, pour your water through. They're going to work out around about 30 pence each brew for them. So they're maybe not one for every day, but for travelling and things like that, they're phenomenal. And a very unique cut profile to it. The paper that's used is really funky on it. So before I dive into this one, I'm going to show you a picture of the roast colour. So you can see here what I would call kind of a medium to medium dark roast. You know, no oils, because oils are bad. You want to be able to taste all of that sweetness coming through. But yeah, you see that there. And let's dive into this. See there, this is where I think this coffee comes alive. I think it's beautifully sweet. Again, honey, but thicker honey, thicker mouthfeel, gloopy. It's really good. A little bit of that floral again, which I've not seen before, so I don't know whether I've done something different here today, but I'm tasting more floral than I have. But that apricot is just like running through. Not fresh apricot, definitely a dried apricot, that's sticky, and again I think it comes down to the mouthfeel with the honey, that sticky kind of mouthfeel. And again with the peaches, I think that the tinned peaches part comes in, again because of the mouthfeel. It's very sticky, very gloopy, very kind of sticking to the mouth. I think it's a delicious coffee. I think we're incredibly lucky to have it, and I'm really, really proud to be showing you guys it. I hope you feel the same. So let's put these in some kind of relevant order. I think the Cantan out the way. So cappuccino last, I'm afraid. Yeah, didn't do it for me in the cap. Espresso, I think it's very, very good. I like it a lot, but not quite as much as in the brewed, because as brewed, I just think that lovely. I like hugs in mugs, and that gives me a hug in the mug because of its sweetness and its balance. So yeah. A couple of things to clear up. QR codes. Due to a mistake this week, the QR codes weren't put on the bags. We will be back to normal next week. I'm actually working with some other ideas as well in the near future that may make the QR code thing a little bit easier to do. But we were a man down and we didn't have time to do them yesterday, so I apologise for that. I'm going to flash up on the screen now a time. I'm recording this on Saturday. Tomorrow I'm doing my first ever half marathon, and that's the time I did it in. If it's over 2 hours, I was rubbish. If it was under 2 hours, then whoa, go me. Yeah, no, seriously, I've never done anything like this before. As a few of you know, I started running in like January, February time this year, and yeah, I've decided to set myself a challenge at 6 months. It was time to do a race, so I'm doing my first race on Sunday. So please wish me lots of luck. I'm going to finish because life is too short.